Good evening, everybody. I want you to remember a time in your life when you were starving and there was no food to be found in the foreseeable future. I definitely remember one of those times. I was a teenager and I was hunting. And of course, as a young teenager, I was not prepared, didn't pack enough food, and I got lost. So, can you imagine having that feeling of hunger every day as a reality? I couldn't. But there are people starving in Africa, South America, and Asia every day, but not in the U.S. because of a wonderful, wonderful program we know as food stamps. So, has anyone here ever used the food stamp program? I think a couple of you guys have. My name is Lake Marungarang, and I have used the food stamp program in the past. In 2009, I was laid off from my crown, and I fell back on my mortgage and on my bills. So I didn't even know what the food stamp program was. And when I did find out, my pride, I couldn't take the free money until my hunger overcame my pride. And I applied for the program, and I used it for 4 months until I found a job. So it really saved my life there. And tonight I hope to enlighten you on the history and importance of the food stamp program, now known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. We're going to go over the purpose of the program, the history, issues with fraud and abuse, stats of the program, and the importance of it to our culture and economy. So we'll start with the purpose. The true purpose of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, according to the Congressional Digest, is to provide nutrition assistance benefits to low-income individuals and families in an effort to reduce hunger and improve the health and well-being of low-income people nationwide. History of the food stamp program. It started in 1939. Right after the Great Depression ended and was brought on by the Great Depression. There was a surplus of farm goods and a number of undernourished people in the streets with no money to buy farm goods. So you got rotting produce on one side and people with no money on the other side. So the government intervened and they started this program to bridge that gap. So it made perfect sense, and that initial program lasted 4 years. And there was an 18-year gap between that program and the pilot program. And that 18 years was filled with studies, reports, proposals, until they finally brought it back in 1961. President Kennedy signed his first executive order, which started the food stamp pilot program. And 3 years later, President Johnson made it permanent by signing the Food Stamp Acts. In 1974, the food stamp program expanded to all 50 states, which made it into a national program. In 10 years after that, in 84, payment using the EBT card, which stands for Electric Benefits Transfer, begins, and that was started mostly to deter fraud and improve efficiency. And lastly, 2008, food stamp program is renamed the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, aka SNAP. So even though the first use of EBT was started to help prevent fraud, there are still some major issues. According to the Government Accountability Office, the food stamp program is vulnerable because retailers can enter the program intending to commit fraud. So some retailers are willing to pay out cash at a ratio of 50 cents on the dollar. An example of that would be a person going up to the cashier and asking for $100 in exchange for the retailer to charge $200 to their SNAP card. People lie about their income to receive more SNAP benefits, and dependency is a big problem as well. Stats from the U.S. Department of Labor tells us that 40.8% of people that are currently receiving SNAP has been receiving benefits for over 10 years. So it's a pretty big problem. The program was meant to be a stepping stone towards a brighter future and not to be used as a crutch. Although there are some issues with the program, the positives far outweigh the negative. It's the only welfare program that makes money for the U.S. economy. For every dollar paid out in SNAP benefits, $1.80 in economic activity occurs. So, and over $70 billion is paid out annually, and that number is on the increase, which is good. In 2012, SNAP lifted 5 million Americans, 2.2 million of which were children, out of poverty. So that's 5 million Americans that were hungry and didn't have enough money to buy food. So we've talked about the purpose, history, fraud, and success of the program. So what can we conclude? SNAP is a great safety net that separates our country from the rest. There may be a few issues that needs to be addressed with SNAP, but the facts show that the program saves lives, mine included.